Hi, y'all all. Welcome to the Griffon Show. It is Monday, best day of the work week. Great to have you with us as we rock and roll. 844-766-6607. Hickson has that hotline. All right, we've been following all the political shenanigans and the hate that's out there. I know a gentleman that I got with us right now. He's seen hate at its worst. He is Representative Steve Scalise. He's also the majority whip. And, Steve, it is a pleasure to have you, sir.
Hey, Moon, always great to be back with you.
Man, it is great. Man, doing great. You know, I know you've been following it, and I've seen you on TV and on radio and everything else talking about what's actually going on in our country. I saw Alec Baldwin, the actor, this weekend, thinks we ought to overthrow the government, overthrow Donald Trump, and the rhetoric has got to stop. And I still believe that you know, I hate to bring it up, but you were shot because of the rhetoric, and I just want to get your comments on it because, I mean, dude, I'm glad you're still with us because of all the craziness that's going on. But talk a little bit about it and address it because I know you're now stepping forward. You're even calling out the Democrats on some of this stuff.
Yeah, Moon, I mean, you know, I'm lucky to be alive just from what happened to me. And, you know, as you referenced, the guy that came out that morning to shoot Republicans was a Bernie Sanders supporter, went to rallies of Bernie's and bought into a lot of the kind of the vitriolic rhetoric that you're hearing and ultimately went unhinged and you know, crossed a line that unfortunately we're seeing crossed in a lot of ways these days where you're seeing violence, you're seeing, you know, I mean, you've got Democrat leaders calling on people to go and harass Trump cabinet secretaries in restaurants and run them out of restaurants and, you know, get in people's faces and kick them. I mean, you got Eric Holder saying, kick them. I mean, people are listening to this rhetoric and people are buying into it, you know, and maybe they're mentally unstable, but it doesn't matter. They're being incited by people that, look, this country, one of the great things, Moon, is that you can disagree with people. You go on the radio, you can call out elected leaders, you can hold people accountable, but you don't call on people to commit acts of violence.
No, not at all.
And there's a clear line, and unfortunately it's being crossed too often. I've been calling out Democrat elected officials, leaders who are doing this. Just last week you had one Republican candidate for governor in Pennsylvania who made some comments like that. I called him out too. The difference there, Moon, is he actually came back and apologized and withdrew. You know, he said, you know what, I went too far. You're not seeing that from the left. No. You're not seeing Democrat leaders call it out. In fact, you're seeing Democrat leaders incite it. And it's one thing to say, you know, Pelosi wants the majority again. She'll do anything to get the majority. But calling on people to incite violence is a line that we don't cross in America. It's not what America's about.
You know, used to, back in the day, you just disagreed. And if your group took over power, you tried to accomplish what you said you would do. Now,
we solve our problems in the ballot box.
Absolutely. So now Donald Trump comes along, and they want to blame Trump for this, which I think is over the top. Outrageous to blame Trump for what's going on. You lost power. You were supposed to win the presidential election. You had a horrendous candidate. She's out there, by the way, defending Bill Clinton on sexual harassment. But anyway, that's another story. So Trump wins. The Republicans finally get the House and Senate, which, by the way, if you go back under Barack Obama, he had day one, they had the House and the Senate. Okay? And I don't remember anybody getting shot that was a Democrat candidate. Do you? You got shot, Steve. And I hate to bring this up. You got shot. I mean, our heart still breaks for that. Every time I think about it, I'm sure yours do. You probably got nightmares on it. And this is the political rhetoric we've gotten to today.
Well, and that they're still continuing to kind of carry out this kind of rhetoric after they've seen just what it does in inciting people who, you know, if there's somebody who's unhinged, who's maybe mentally unstable, this might be the thing that pushes them over the top. And you've got to be cognizant of that. You shouldn't do it ever, but especially now that you've seen just what it's leading some people to do. And look, you see this in third world countries.
Yep.
This is not what America is about. And if that's how much they want power, I think it shows people. Swing voters, by the way, this isn't something that swing voters look at and go, okay, that's the party I want power. I mean, they look like they only want power for the sake of power, and they don't care who they go through or go over to get it. And again, I mean, we fight over issues all the time. We battle out. We have votes. Hope people are held accountable. We have elections. That's how we resolve our differences here.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Representative Steve Scalise, of course, Louisiana Steve Scalise. He's also the majority whip in Congress right now, and he's seeing. First of all, thank you for for taking a stand you took, Steve, because I think someone like you has a lot of credibility when you look at what happened to yourself, what you see going around the country. It was always okay to disagree politically. But Alec Baldwin yesterday called for the overthrowing of Donald Trump, and it wasn't on Saturday Night Live. And I think, what do they think you're going to accomplish by saying something like that?
I mean, it's like what they said years ago when Bush got elected. They all said, Alec Baldwin on down, so they moved to Canada. You know, I'm still waiting, by the way. There's a lot of money that was raised for those one-way tickets to send them to Canada.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
None of them took us up on it because they know. I mean, America's the greatest country in the history of the world. And Moon, our country was falling into decline with just those first 2 years of Barack Obama's presidency,
Absolutely.
Where he had Nancy Pelosi as Speaker. And let's not forget Harry Reid in the Senate with 60 Democrat votes, and we saw what they did.
Yep.
And the policies they carried out ruined our economy. 8 straight years of less than 2% growth. That didn't even happen during the Great Depression in the 1920s, Moon. And so now Donald Trump gets in. He ran, by the way, promising he was going to get the economy back on track, make America great again. They mocked it. But America was in decline. Now we're seeing our economy grow again. We're seeing people be able to get back into the workforce and become part of the American dream. And they have higher paychecks now,
Yep.
More money in their pockets because of the tax cuts. And this is what they want to get rid of. This is what they want to reverse. What do they want? Do they want mediocrity for everybody? Because that's what we had. We had a country becoming like Europe. We don't want to be like Europe. Europe's trying to be like us. So that's what's at stake here. And so what kind of country do they want? And if they want it to be European socialism, there's a lot of great places in Europe that they can go. But they want to stay here and turn our country into what Europe is, and we're not going to let it happen.
No doubt about it. Representative Steve Scalise, the Majority Whip. John, Steve, one of the things that have concerned me, too, is as bad as the Democrats are, a lot of people in the press play along the game with them. A lot of people are calling out what we're watching. I'm just curious, and I know you got shot, but when I see people threaten people in restaurants, get in their face, okay? There's been over 600 reported incidents of Trump people just wearing paraphernalia get punched and beat. Is there a mob? I look at it as a bunch of mobs out there right now that are going through the process. And the media is upset because people are saying this is mob rule. Do you see it as a mob rule deal?
Yeah, I mean, what else do you want to call it? It's illegal to hit somebody. It's illegal to harass somebody. I mean, we would call out a schoolyard bully. Democrats say they're against bullying, and yet they want to bully and intimidate people just based on their political views.
Great
and you
point.
see it on college campuses, Moon. Go look at what they do on college campuses to try to shut out conservative voices. These are the people that say they want openness and inclusion as long as you believe that everything that they say. I mean, this isn't a drink the Kool-Aid kind of cult. This is a country that is built on our diversity and our greatness, and yet they want to bully you if you disagree with them.
Yeah, I think it's coming to a point, especially if the left ever wins, that you can have free speech long as the speech lines up with them. You can have freedom to do what you want long as you do the way they want you to do it. That is not the free way to do things. It's not even close, and that's not the type of country we should have. And you made a great point, Steve, and we have a country where you can disagree, settle it at the ballot box. If people want to go to this leftist, progressive failure system, then people will vote for that, and we will get that. So they have an opportunity to do it. Why you got to go threaten somebody? And by the way, you're right. They big time against bullying unless they doing the bullying.
Yeah, they're okay with bullying people. They just don't want anybody else to do it to them. But we've got to call them out on it. But we've also got to recognize just what's going on. When you see right now in Democrat primaries, you're seeing liberals, avowed liberals, being beat by socialists. Mm-hmm. Two of my colleagues on the Democrat side, Joe Crowley, who I've always had a good working relationship with, and Mike Capuano, who represents part of Boston, Massachusetts. They're not moderates. They're both liberals, and they both got beat in their Democrat primaries by avowed socialists. Yeah. So that's where the party's moving. And if you're a Democrat today in Louisiana, you're probably a blue dog. You're surely not a socialist.
Well, let me ask a quick question, if I can. I know you don't have a lot of time. Talk a little bit about the elections around the country, Senate and especially the House side. What do you think? It's 3 weeks from tomorrow. Is there really a surge by the Republicans? Is this going to be really close? Is this one of them nail biters that we're not going to know till the election's over?
Well, I've been going to help a lot of my colleagues in these swing districts. And Moon, when you're in a swing district, like today, if you turn on the TV in Monroe and you go back home, or you're in New Orleans, you're seeing commercials for maybe car dealers or trial lawyers. You're not seeing political commercials for the most part.
Not at all.
When you go to these districts, it is just, each congressional district, you're seeing $5 to $10 million being spent, because there's only about, out of 435 House seats, there's only about 45 of them that are going to determine whether Nancy Pelosi's speaker or not. So you're talking about 10% of all of Congress is going to decide who's controlling Congress. And there's huge money out there. Michael Bloomberg alone has put $80 million of his own money into flipping the House from Republican to Democrat. So it's very, it's aggressive. The ads on both sides are heated, but they've got a lot of money that they're spending to try to make Pelosi speaker again. And their agenda is what I point out. Let's forget about the personalities. We pass tax cuts that are getting our economy moving, Moon. Anybody that wants to look for a job can find a job today because the economy is doing well because we cut taxes. They want to raise taxes again. They want to get rid of the ICE border agents that are keeping our country safe, that are keeping violent criminals and illegal aliens out of our country. They want to get rid of them and go to open borders. That's not where middle America is. And so I'll be going to some different parts of middle America later this week. And these are all swing districts. And you can see the difference, but you're seeing our intensity level rise. And I think the Kavanaugh hearings showed just how much they are a party right now of just try to win and regain power at any cost, even if it means destroying people. And again, that's not who we are.
Do you feel pretty good? Do you feel like you got a shot the whole House? I know you got a chance to be Speaker. I know it's important to you.
50-50.
Okay. But I know it's important to you personally, but I know it gives you another shot, another leg up if we win. But I know you would rather win the House and not be Speaker than lose the House. And anyway, so I think I know where you're coming from, but
exactly.
It's a close deal. And they got to win 23 seats. That's a lot of seats to win.
Yeah, they need to win 23, but you can see how they can get a path to get there. And we need to win probably half of the swing districts that you're seeing out there to hold the House. So it's going to be a toss-up. It's going to be a late night on Tuesday, November 6th. But in the end, this isn't about power. It's about direction of the country. Mm-hmm. We had 8 years of rapid decline in our country. Sure. And, by the way, look at foreign policy. North Korea was getting a nuclear weapon. Iran's getting a nuclear weapon. Russia was running roughshod over our allies in the Middle East. In the eastern part of Europe. Now, all of a sudden, with President Trump in office, President Trump's foreign policy gets no credit, Moon, but look at what he's done. He's got North Korea now denuclearizing. Mm-hmm. They haven't tested a missile in months, and they're actually winding down their nuke program. Iran, we're seeing now increased sanctions against Iran to stop them from getting a nuclear weapon. Russia's not moving into the Ukraine anymore because President Trump, who the liberals love to try to tie to Russia, President Trump, not Obama, President Trump has been standing up to Putin and pushing him out of the Ukraine. Go look at it, by the way. You'll never hear about it in the media.
By the way,
but he's actually helping the Ukrainians push Putin out of Ukraine.
Yeah, if people would look at the issues, I think they'll win. And the last thing I'll throw, and I know you got to go.
But they want to impeach Trump. Part of their agenda, by the way, is to impeach Trump and to literally bring every cabinet secretary in who's getting our economy moving again and try to unwind all of the things that are working well for our economy. So if you want to give your tax cuts back to Nancy Pelosi, then let the House flip from Republican to Democrat, and that's where it'll go. But we want to keep this economy growing.
Yeah,
we want to keep opportunities for people and keep a healthy economy.
Trump has big rallies, and they all show up just like they did when he was running. I think that's amazing, the number of people that showing up, and I hope that's a good sign. All right, Steve, I'll let you go, man. Steve Scalise, of course, Majority Whip and our own Congressman. God bless, man. Thanks for your words.
God bless him, and always great to be with you. Take care.
Anytime. All right, Steve Scalise, Representative Scalise. All right, we take a break. Be back. Short segment when we come back. More to come. Bill Cassidy, Senator Cassidy joins us coming on a 9:30 break. By the way, he handled himself really well in front of a nut again. We'll take a break and be right back. Hi, hello. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. Expecting Senator Bill Cassidy to call in. Like I said, I got the text on Friday, Brandon. And so, let's see. It is 9:30. today. I'm looking at it, so we'll see if they call in. All right, 844-766-6607. Hickson has a lot. Don't worry about it, folks. I'm prepared, ready to have some fun, always. Yeah, Donald Trump yesterday, you knew they were going to be back. I didn't watch his wife interview, and I don't know what happened on that interview. I have no idea if they beat up his wife or not. I know they asked him, I saw previews, they asked him about the sex deal and out of marriage and powerful man and all that stuff. By the way, you see what Hillary Clinton said? Bill Clinton, he never abused anybody. That was Hillary. I hope they keep putting Hillary Clinton out there for the next 3 weeks. Best thing could happen to the Republican Party is that Hillary Clinton stays out there talking about sexual harassment and defending Bill still. Still defending Clinton. Still defending Bill. All right. Bill Clinton, not Bill Cassidy, but we do have Senator Cassidy join us. Senator Cassidy, how you doing?
Hey, Moon, I am fantastic. How are you, brother?
I'm doing great. Hey, real quick, I want to go back because you did such a wonderful job on the first lady that tried to go after you, but you did even a better job with the second one that had her kids. Explain what happened, because what I saw, I thought, dang, Cassidy did a great job. First of all, you didn't back down, and that was great. And number two is you were very professional. You handled your position. Talk a little bit about what happened and what you told a lady with the kids.
So I'm walking. So Judge Kavanaugh has been confirmed by the Senate, and probably that time is sworn in as Justice Kavanaugh, but the left has not given it up. I'm just walking through the hallways, and I'm the only senator she would have seen that day because the Senate was out of session, but I was up there doing some work. And she had her kids there, and it was clear. She had planned to have her kids there with another friend of hers to go after any senator she found.
Sure.
And I just had it up to here. I just had an update here, Moon, with the left coming after us, trying to make us feel guilty for that which is right. And so when she says, listen, tell my kids, apologize to them for why you're doing such terrible things, I'm thinking to myself, you got your kids here when they should be in school trying to badger senators in an obnoxious way. So it just kind of played from there with me acknowledging that the parents were using the kids as a tool, and then coming right back as to why it's important that we presume innocence before we destroy somebody's life.
Yeah, I noticed that you told the kids, hey, what did you tell the kids directly? Did you tell the kids something along the line? It'd be nice that one day you won't be accused of something, somebody will have to prove it?
First I said, I can see that your parents are using you as a tool, and that, although I'm speaking to the kids, I'm really speaking to the mother. And then I said, and don't worry, should someone ever accuse you of something in the future and there is no proof, you'll be okay. Yeah, they can't realize how important that is, but they will realize it when they're my age and your age, Moon.
Yeah, but the sad thing about it is that what these liberal, leftist, socialist nuts are doing with their own kids. Wow, what a teachable moment, and they're using it for the wrong thing. And that's why I like what you did, because you were cool, you handled yourself real well, you just looked at the kids and told them that, and then the mama shouted something else at you.
Well, the mama was going to shout no matter what. They're not a tool, they're not a tool, they're not a tool. Clearly they're being used as a tool.
They may not
be. She was on Facebook.
Go ahead. No, I just said they might have not been a tool, but that woman's a fool.
Well, she was on Facebook the week before saying that she was bringing her children up there to use them as kind of a prop. And hopefully, she's the one that posted that video. I'm surprised she posted the video. She did not have insight into kind of how bad it made her look. But now that it's kind of going viral, I'm hoping, for the kids' sake, that she now has insight that the kids should not be used as pawns as she tries to pursue her leftist agenda.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Senator Bill Cassidy, Louisiana's very own. Well, Senator Cassidy, here we are. I know we're about 3 weeks away, and that's it. I mean, just off the record, dealing with elections, are you feeling pretty good about the Senate and the House? Or just off the record, I know you guys talk amongst y'all. So what do you think happens in the election? You think it's so close we got to wait and see?
It's done a lot of good for us in the Senate, where some candidates got a 6-point bump on the Republican candidates got a 6-point bump. I'm talking about Kavanaugh. Yeah. The left went so over the top, and the Democratic senators were so out of control that I think independents looked at this and said, maybe I don't like Trump that much, but I like the Trump economy, and I really don't want those guys in charge. So it's helped us a lot in the Senate. In the House, the economy continues to hump. And so I'm hoping that the combination of the economy continuing to improve, as well as the NAFTA deal being signed, and then Justice Kavanaugh will help us in some of these districts that have been kind of touch and go for us. We got a lot of people retiring. It makes it that much harder to hold, but I'm hoping that we can hold the House.
Yeah. But you feel like the Senate may can add maybe 2 or 3 seats still?
I think the Senate we could add 2 or 3 right now. Heller was down after Kavanaugh. Heller is up in Nevada.
Yeah.
McSally was down in Arizona after Kavanaugh. McSally is up in Arizona.
It looks like her lead's starting to grow too.
Yeah, Hawley popped after the election. I've seen some polling data in Indiana that the Mike Braun in Indiana is doing well. Joe Donnelly was going after Mike Braun, saying, "Well, listen, you're bringing in stuff from China. I can't believe you're a businessman with a supply chain that includes China." And then they pointed out Donnelly's family business had the same thing.
Yeah.
So I think that may splash back on Joe Donnelly.
Oh, no doubt about it. Well, it's going to be interesting. I want to ask you just about one race in particular, because I know you're following them all. Florida's really tight. I saw the Democrat in the polls that Real Clear Politics that the Democrats still had about a 1-point lead.
Yeah. I think how Hurricane Michael recovery goes will play big here.
Yeah.
Rick Scott is an incredibly competent, capable governor. And the more people reflect upon how good a governor he is, the better for his electoral chances. As we know, sometimes hurricanes are so big, you can do everything right, and there's still a lot of problems. So if it goes well, I think that helps him tremendously. If not, the Dems are going to exploit it as a way to kind of defeat him.
Well, I think they'll try to exploit it anyway. All right. The Senate passed a Cassidy's co-sponsored bill to help patients save money on prescriptions. Tell us what's going on with that.
Yeah. I mean, I always think that when the president says he's draining the swamp, he's giving swamps a bad name. But in healthcare in particular, and your listeners probably know I'm a doctor and I work in the charity hospital system. In healthcare in particular, there are many times when the patient has no clue what the cost is.
Yeah.
And it's rigged, so the patient, even if she or he wants to know, they can't know. One example, pharmacists were not allowed to tell patients that it would be cheaper to pay cash than it would be to pay the insurance copay. If the pharmacist told the patient that, the pharmacist would lose their insurance contract and they would go out of business. We just made that illegal. Now, the pharmacist can actually tell the patient, you're getting Lovenox. It's $70 if you pay cash, and your insurance copay is $190. I can tell you that up front. Maybe you want to pay this one with cash as opposed to through your insurance. By the way, I picked that because a guy I had coffee with in New Orleans this past week at Jefferson Parish gave me that specific example 2 years ago. He was paying $190 until he thought to ask the cash price. Turns out it was $70, and he saved $120 a prescription.
Yeah. Well, so anyway, is that passed as a law now? Or that just passed through the Senate?
The president has signed that into the law. If you look closely at the Roosevelt Room ceremony, I'm behind him, and the president gave me a little pin. It's on my Facebook page. Donald Trump is kind of inscribed on the pin. We're going to frame it, but we got that into law. Yeah.
Well, let me throw something else at you. I noticed they cut a deal. One thing about McConnell, I don't care if people have liked McConnell in the past or not. McConnell is actually, the Senate president actually has been really tough. I mean, he held Galling's Supreme Court nomination, Obama's nomination out. He got Kavanaugh through, and then I just read where they cut a deal with they could 15 more judges, federal judges, were passed. I mean, they passed and approved them overnight because the Democrats wanted to go campaign, so they agreed to it real quick. And when they come back, they're going to approve 32 more judges. How big is that? And McConnell's been the one responsible. He's been the one holding tight.
McConnell has handled this perfectly. Schumer in the background directing the whole, at least in my opinion, directing the whole campaign against Judge Kavanaugh. But in the meantime, he's got 10 senators running for re-election in states that Donald Trump won. And so he wants his senators back in their, in Missouri and North Dakota campaigning as opposed to being stuck in D.C. McConnell looks at Schumer and he goes, hey, listen, Chuck, if you don't let our judges go through, I'm going to keep us in here through the election.
Yeah, I saw that.
Which means that they'll never go home. At that point, Schumer folded his cards, angry as it had to make them, and said, okay, you win, Mitch, and we get 15 judges through.
Yeah. And by the way, McConnell said he's coming back in the dead session, which will be after the election. He's coming back and passing 32 more out. And that would be a big victory for not only for the country, but for Trump and the people and the Republicans who passed this.
Several things to say. One of those judges we just got through is Mike Juneau, who will be taking a district court judge in Lafayette. And Lafayette lawyers have been telling me they just swamped over there. And so Mike Juneau's on board, incredibly capable. We're pleased to have him. Secondly, Trump has now appointed 1/6. That's 1/6 of the federal judges in the circuit courts, like Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals. Now, that's huge because for every one case that goes before the Supreme Court, there's 1,000 that go before these circuit courts.
Sure.
And most laws made in circuit courts, and he's flipping it from something a lot of folks appointed by Clinton and Obama into something where a lot of folks have been appointed by Bush and by Trump.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, Senator Cassidy, you don't have a lot of time. Anything else you want to add real quick?
No, man, go Tigers. It's a good weekend for the Tigers. And, I went to that game. I was a little kind of thinking, I'm not sure it's going to play. It's played fantastic. Huh?
I'm about to say, if you was at the LSU game and you're watching on TV, if you're not excited, then you don't know what good football is, I can promise you. That was a big, big win for them. So anyway.
They dominated like I haven't seen them dominate in a long time, a good team. But.
Well, the last time I saw you at a ball game was last year's, 2 years ago, LSU, Alabama. And I will be at the LSU-Alabama game again this year. So I'm looking forward to seeing that game. That's going to be an exciting time again.
It will be exciting.
Yeah. All right.
Hey, thanks, Moon.
All right, Senator Bill Cassidy. Thank you. All right, take a quick break. By the way, Brandon, they got into climate change last night. You know, that man-made global warming craziness, communism that they're trying to push on us. And Trump handled that really, really well. By the way, Leslie Stahl talked about all these scientists who say the effects of climate change are worse than ever. But when Trump asked her to cite one, she couldn't cite one scientist. Not one. You know why? Because the media don't care about that. This is what they're running on. Man-made global warming. And Al Gore's back out there with it, too. What a bunch of nuts. We cannot ever affect the weather. Ever affect what's going to happen with weather. Ever. No proof. We'll take a break. Be right back. Hi, hello. Welcome to the Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline if you'd like to be part of the program. Your opportunity to be a voice. A lot of stuff to cover. I got some state stuff as well. But real quick on the interview with Leslie Stahl. I watched some of it. I didn't want to watch it all because it just beat up Trump. Matter of fact, did you see that 99.7 of all donations made this year in the election by people in Hollywood, Brandon, went to Democrats? 99.7.
You mean there was actually 0.3% that did?
Yeah, and they hiding like hell. Oh, and then I'm going to get beat up. So anyway, so Donald Trump last night, Stahl went from one article after another. There's a great article on this, by the way. It says Variety. 60 Minutes was outmatched by Trump. Okay, the president talked over Leslie Stahl in relentless blast of rhetoric that seemed more rally than interview. Well, I guess so. Once again, when you put people in a corner, and you're going to try to beat them up, people are going to fight. Put Schumer in a corner and see if he'll fight. All right, trying to crack the code of Donald Trump human being, Stahl goes, I wish you could see Greenland. In a brief portion of interviews dealing with climate change, watch these huge chunks of ice just falling into the ocean, raising the sea levels. My God. Gee whiz. Trump shouted her down, predictably. unmoved by Stahl's evident passion about a story. He won every segment of the interview because he utterly unable to brook doubt, and at that point, a broadcast dealing with a president who cannot face facts must be armed with real facts of her own. Example, Stahl asked Trump about the scientists who say the effects of climate change are worse than ever. By the way, folks, that's a model. They took a computer model and came up with climate change. There's absolutely no way man affects the climate. None whatsoever. It cannot happen, cannot be proved. Anyway, when she started with that, Trump put it back in her face and said, name one of the scientists. She couldn't name one. But all these scientists, they can't even name them. If you're going to ask the man a question, shouldn't you be able to throw all these great scientists? Then let us see who these scientists are who are making money from the federal government. I mean, not one thing about this so-called. Then Al Gore's out there. Jet stream getting loopier and wavier, so we have a global emergency. By the way, Al Gore said in 1980 we had about 10 years left, Brandon. Guess what Al Gore says now? We got about 12 years left. Gore reacting to this week's Intergovernment Panel on Climate Change. Intergovernment Panel on Climate Change hates us. It's from the UN. The UN hates America. Here we go. We fund most of it. The UN Secretary General says it confirms that climate change is running faster than we are, and we are running out of time. What are we going to do about it? Besides tax businesses and tax people to death, what do you think you're going to do about it if that's happening at all? Which is not, I think it happens. Sometimes the planet's warmer, sometimes it's colder. They have confiscated weather. Hurricanes, look, the one in Michael, man, I watched the picture. That's devastating. 155-mile-an-hour wind hitting the coast like that. We have built all over the coast. Nobody even knew what Mexico beach was until you found out the hurricane came in and wiped it out. Nobody even heard of Mexico Beach. And look at the people that built that since the 70s. They said most homes that were built in the 70s, Brandon, are all gone. Nothing to do with climate change. It had to do with a dang hurricane. Gore told PBS in an interview, earmarks of the latest storm are worth paying attention. Hurricane Michael intensifies as it reached the coast and something relatively new. And the reason for it is the ocean waters are much warmer than normal. Sometimes they're warmer. Sometimes they're not. It's been going on since time began. So it's not getting cold water churned up to weaken the storm. It's getting stronger. It's not, folks. We got more people on the beach. We got more people down on the coast. So when you have a disaster like that, it's just one of them things that happen. Then the thing with the rains, where we saw them here in Louisiana, rain bombs, now all caused by man-made global warming. Oh, that's a bunch of buck. There's no proof in that. They never will have proof on that. But they got enough people falling into it. Hurricane Harvey was just set there. Brandon, there's always been times when storms have been fast and storms have been slow. You know how quick that storm was? It hit and it was gone. Yeah. That sucker hit on Wednesday and was in the ocean on Thursday.
Thank goodness it didn't sit longer than it did.
Yeah, but the wind, it was a windstorm. Yeah. It was more of a windstorm and a surge storm.
Yeah.
But we got to believe the people that don't like us now all over the world. And so we go get scientists to start agreeing on what? A model runs off a computer. And I'm telling you, this has much more to do with climate change. It's CC, climate change. I call it CCC, climate change crap. Because that's all it is. But yet people will buy into this one day. And it will be a destruction of the United States of America. Go ahead and go to all windmill produced and electric cars and all that, and see how all that works when you got a flood. We won't be able to get to people anymore. But you can't tell these people this. And yet, here we go. Man-made global warming. I feel horrible for the people that win this. Al Gore calling it a global emergency. So what are we going to do about it, folks? I guarantee you, when they fix something and the socialists and Marxists fix something, it's about your money and your time and your wealth and doing it what they say is going to be done right. And here's what they'll do. Let's say we did everything they wanted to do. Every tax they wanted us to pay, destroy all of it, whatever. Everything they wanted to do, and we have a hurricane. You know what they're going to start saying? Well, we may be too late on this. We may have should have done something 50 years ago about this because it just won't stop. It'd be too late then. You'd have bought into a foolish idea. Total foolish idea that we, the people in America, are causing storms to be stronger. If nobody was on the beach and nobody was within 100 miles of the beach, most people wouldn't even know much about a hurricane. Ever.
So you're going to love this one. This just now came out from CNN. Geez. CNN says, according to a new study, global warming will lead to substantial decreases in barley crop yields, causing beer shortages and a sharp rise in the price of a pint.
Yeah, Brandon, I tell you what you do, Brad. I'm going to at the break, I want you to run to the store right here and see if we can buy a beer on the corner store. Brandon, they have put, it's political because they put this in everything. Cows fluctuating is causing man-made global warming. I mean, everything causes man-made global warming now. Everything. That's when you know it's political. They say, man, people like Griffon don't understand weather's not global warming. Then how come every time there's a weather event, y'all jump on there and call it some kind of ridiculous thing that's going on? I mean, think about it, folks. What can me and Brandon do to change that we won't have hard, tougher, worse hurricanes? And the fact is, go back to the 50s and 60s. They had hurricanes roll through here and just destroy stuff with a lot less homes on the beach. But yet we're going to hear this, and the Democrat Party, who gave us abortion, killing the babies, the Democrat Party, who gave us a new definition for marriage, the Democrat Party, who's going to tell us that global warming, man-made global warming, they give us all this leftist stuff. You know? And Alec Baldwin, we need to overthrow the government. This is Alec Baldwin. This is not on a Saturday Night Live skit. This was Sunday. And he said it. We need to overthrow the government. He headlined a New Hampshire Democratic Party inaugural Eleanor Roosevelt dinner Sunday night at Manchester Downtown Hotel, telling their people. We just had a gentleman on, Steve Scalise, who was shot with all this rhetoric. You know, Brandon, I wish we could do what I'm going to tell you, but I know we can't. I wish we could divide the country. And all the people that believed in God and Jesus and the Constitution and believed in a rule of law and believed in a good economy and believed in doing for yourself could be one half the country, and the idiots could be another half. And let them have health care, free health care, open borders for anybody and everybody that they wanted to come in here. Don't matter. Don't worry about the rule of law. Have a law in the books that if somebody accuses you of something, you're guilty. Let them do all that stuff they want to and watch people try to come across to our borders. But the thing about it is we're going to have closed borders. So we're not going to let you out of your America to come to our America. Ours won't be perfect. We know that. Y'all won't have no guns over there either. So when the people come from the border, say how that works out for you. Think about all the craziness that they believe in. Just think if you could cut America in half and have their way and our way. Ours wouldn't be perfect. And then they can't come to us because we're going to secure our borders. Let's see how the country and the world turns out for them. We got to take a break. Your calls are welcome. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. Be right back. Joe, great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. If you'd like to be part of the program, your opportunity to be a voice. Just think if we could split the country. And on the left, they took over that country. They wanted it. Abortion anytime during the pregnancy. Anybody can marry. 2-3 people at a time. Okay? Tax businesses highest taxes in the world, free health care for everybody, legal or not legal. How about open borders? Come and go as you want to. Shouldn't be a problem. Legalize every drug and dope known to mankind. All legalized. Global warming. Yeah, you got to have that. You got to hit them businesses even harder about global warming. They'll have everything. They won't have any gas, any oil products. Everything's electric or windmill. No gas, nothing. You cannot have anything with fossil fuels. None, zero. Everybody is a vegetarian, Brandon. That's all you can eat is vegetables. We will have no animals here. No hunting, no guns, none. No free speech, because they don't want free speech. That would be their country. No free speech. I mean, don't y'all think that'd be all? Hey, health care for everybody, folks. There will be no Christian churches. None. Nobody can say the name Jesus in the Democrat stronghold. That would be their country. Can you imagine? That would be their country, folks. I mean, everybody is a citizen that comes over and everybody gets to vote. There is no free speech. The speech is what we tell you it is. There is no gender. No gender. No his and hers. Gone. And they'll have drag queens at libraries once a week to talk to the kiddies. Brandon, did I miss anything?
No.
That would be a hell of a country. And that's what they ought to go to if we could. And I don't mind if I got to go to the cold climate or the hot climate or whatever climate I got to go. I would be glad to be on our side of the country. I'd be glad to be on our side of the country. But once you are a citizen of that country, then we're going to have border walls. We're going to have border walls. We don't want you coming to our country unless you come in legal. We will have a legal system and a way to come in. My prediction, Brandon, is once that country's set up, the liberal socialists of this country sets up that country, we better have really strict ways to get in the country because they're going to all want to come after they leave that hellhole. But that's what the New Democrat Party is all about. Will that happen one day here? Probably, because we just don't watch and see what's happening. Y'all can have the national public schools that you always wanted. Y'all can get rid of electoral college, Brandon. They can all just be one big happy country. No states, no independence. That's really what they want. And all the man-made global warming toys they want to do, let them go. And when a hurricane comes, or a tornado hits, or that rain bomb hits you, please don't call us. You won't have an economy to fight it. You won't have an economy. People will be so bitter in a Democrat Party country. They'll be so bitter. They'll be so hateful. They'll be trying to knock our walls down to come that way. I guess to ruin us too. Just think if we could split the country. How great their country would be. Abortion on demand, third trimester, so what? They wouldn't care. They can do all the life experiments they want to on their own people. Let's go to Mike on the road. Mike, how you doing?
Well, sir, I have been better, but I got over it.
I hear you.
Hey, man, the last time I talked to you, I told you that we just need to forget all this stuff and go to Hackberry and go fishing.
Well, I agree with that, but it's called time. Some of us got to work.
Listen, before we go any farther, I want to say one thing. Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior, and I am so proud that my name is written in the Lamb's Book of Life. But it's going to take something like John Wayne mentality to get us back to where we need to be. If somebody says something to us, we're going to have to get back in their face and face them down to make them prove it or shut up. Wow. Back during the Cold War, we were situated in all over the world, and we were given jobs to do, and we went and did them. It was not by debate, and it was not for general public knowledge. There was a term called "you do not have a need to know." If the rest of the world thinks that the president and his cabinet needs to have a debate before they wipe their nose, then they're living in the wrong country. Now, I hate to tell you this, my brother, but you already missed the boat. We've got the drag queens pontificating in our institutes of higher learning every day, and these soft-headed minds are soaking it up like a sponge. That's why we are where we are at. Until we get down on our knees and pray to put God back in our country, put him first,
all right, Mike,
then we're never going to be where we need to be.
Hey, no doubt. All right, Mike, got to go. God bless. Appreciate the call. Roy Monroe, you're up next. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. All right, y'all, welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. Yeah, the Democrats could have their own country. And I just listed a lot of things they can do. And man, they could really have a great country, boy. It would be unbelievable. No Second Amendment. No Second Amendment. No guns in their America. None. Zero, zilch. None. And all them people coming through the border, they come as they want to. You just grow their voter registration every day. Everybody probably have to register Democrat. No Christians. No Christian churches. Shit, why don't they just call themselves Russia? All right, let's go to Roy in Monroe. Roy, how you doing?
Just fine, Moon. And I'm here. I'm glad to tell you that your wish has been fulfilled.
How's that?
In 2016, Kurt Schlichter wrote a book called People's Republic. He wrote it believing Hillary was going to win the election. And in it, he profiles the history of the United States after her election. She was reelected in 2020, but she didn't finish her second term. She died. Vice President Elizabeth Warren took over.
Well, didn't they have? Hold on just a second. Didn't they have a movie? Brandon, didn't you see a movie about Hillary's America?
Oh yeah.
Is that very similar?
This is completely different. This is a work of fiction. The movie was kind of trying to show all the facts. But at any rate, in 2024, the Treaty of St. Louis was signed, breaking the country up into two countries, the United States, which was the red center, and the People's Republic of North America, which were both coasts. Okay, the book is set in 2034. The main character makes a darn good living sneaking out of the red states into the blue states, finding people who have friends and loved ones that want them in the red, and sneaking them over the border.
Yeah, that would happen. Matter of fact, what's the name of the book?
People's Republic. The author is Kurt Schlichter, Schlichter.
I got to go get that. That's got to be worth reading.
It is, and the thing is, he was very serious in his writing, but it's a laugh a minute. I mean, when you look at all the stuff that they did to try to accommodate transgenders, atheists, oh yeah, there are guns, but only the elites and their security squads have them.
I knew they were going to have guns. I'm talking about for us peasants. Us peasants and that. Well, I got to go read that. That's got to be a trip. I got to believe that's a trip.
Well, the thing is that it is, and the thing is, after 10 years of their enlightened rule, thanks to their economic and ecological policies, they can no longer feed themselves, and the workers are starting to revolt.
No. I told you what's going to happen in this country. What's going to end up happening, the people that keep voting Democrat are going to be the ones that revolt. They're going to be the ones turn around and go, oh, my God, I used to get free health care. My God, I had free home. My God, I had a livable. All this crazy stuff that they want to do destroys countries. We know it because just look overseas and all the countries that are destroyed because of the policies they want. We have no morals. We mess up the definition of marriage. We kill babies. I mean, it's just unbelievable. But that's what happens when you get away from, a godly nation that, we were, and we're a post-Christian country. We are. They can say what they want to. That's who we are. All right, I got to run, Roy. Thanks for the book. I got to go get that, Brandon. You can buy that for Christmas for me. Let's go. See how I spend your money? I like spending other people's money. Hey, I could be a liberal. I like spending other people's money. Fred, New Iberia. Fred, how you doing?
Good. How y'all?
Man, doing great, Fred. Good to hear from you.
Well, you just left out some things I wanted to add.
Yeah, go ahead. I told Brandon there were going to be some more things to add in this great utopia that they want to build for us.
Oh, yeah. You can't have a flag. You can't say a prayer. You don't have to worry about, about sports and kneeling and all of that stuff because everybody's a winner. Everybody gets a trophy. There's no competition. And my strongest point is this. That's for us because the Democrat government, they get to do anything. They get to jump on planes, complain about the environment, but they can do anything they want. That is the way we have to live.
Yeah, the thing about it is we just tell them, look, y'all got y'all country, we got ours. Good luck. By the way, our border enforcement will be enforced from day one, and we will have people that can come here legally, but they're going to be well vetted before they come. And just let that part of the country just allow all the people that want to come in, vote how they want. Matter of fact, did you see what the leftist Democrat did in Georgia? She said, we're going to win, that everybody gets to vote, citizens and non-citizens. She didn't use those terms, but that's what she said.
Yeah, all the ones that complained and said, if Trump gets in, I'm leaving the country. Not a one of them left. We must have something good here. Huh?
Yeah, well, I just think if they could get what they want, it would be hell for everybody.
Yes, it will.
So
I appreciate you taking my call, boy.
All right, man, appreciate the call. By the way, Elizabeth Warren now saying she has some. By the way, Brandon, she did a DNA test, and she goes back 6 or maybe 10 generations that she has that Native American heritage. And she said Donald Trump told her she'd give $1 million to a worthy cause, and that Donald Trump needs to pay up, and that Donald Trump needs to come clean with his tax records, because when we win, we're going to look at your tax records. And then she goes, tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. How much hate can one person have? Donald Trump has responded, Brandon. Trump on Elizabeth Warren's DNA test. Who cares? I hope she runs. She'd be very easy. Who cares? I hope she's run. She'll be very... Brandon, I can play it if you can set it up over here. Let me see if it'll come out. You ready? I hope it comes out.
It's ready.
I think that's a good thing.
Here it comes right in.
Senator Elizabeth Warren releasing the results of her DNA test. No, I have no. Who cares? Who cares? $1 million to charity. I didn't say that. No, I think you better read it again. Say it. Sorry, you have a helicopter roaring in the background. Go ahead. No, not a theory, but the denial was very strong. It wasn't like there was a question in his mind. The denial was very, very strong.
All right, Brent. I mean, they got a helicopter in the background. Everybody's hollering stupid questions as they normally do. And anyway, great-great-great-great-grandmother Warren tells Trump to pay up.
Oh.
And Brandon, you talk about a woman with no clue. Tell you what, as long as she's around, I ain't the dumbest person. Anyway, 844-766-6607, Hickson has a hotline. Let me ask the question, folks. What do you think a mob looks like? What is a real mob? The press and the left are upset that Republicans are calling what's going on mobs out there as they scare people, beat up people. Steve Scalise was shot. What do you think a mob? Brandon, I'm sure there's a definition of a mob. Is there a definition that you can hunt up for us when you get a chance? We'll take the break first. If you get a chance, what is a mob? What does a mob look? Look like a mob to me. But they're upset by the term mob. Why are they upset by the term mob? If you're going to threaten people and scare people to death, why are you worried about the definition of a mob?
A mob, a large crowd of people, especially one that is disorderly and intent on causing trouble or violence.
Well, Brandon, that kind of describes what they're doing. Say that again.
All right. So a mob. A mob is a large crowd of people, especially one that is disorderly and intent on causing trouble or violence.
All right, there it is, folks. So it sounds like to me it's a mob. So it sounds like a mob is what we're looking at. So I think mob is the proper term, but what is the press doing? They're fighting the term mob. I wonder why. All right, we got to take a break. More calls. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. We'll be right back.